So, what is up, my people? I'm going to talk about what I consider the people's main event. Not the main event, but the co-main. Because although Edwards versus Muhammad 2 is headlining, I don't feel like that's the one that carries the most weight in the future of any UFC divisions right now. What I do believe is Aspinall versus Blaydes 2 is the one that carries the most. Aspinall versus Blaydes 1 was the reason why I was counting out Aspinall against Pavlovich, because he comes back from an injury and then beats like the rank 10, which is, still impressive. You don't want to overextend yourself coming back from an injury, but he gets the victory. And then it was good for him, but it wasn't really anything that said he was ready to take on Pavlovich, who made short work of Curtis Blaydes. But then Tom Aspinall pulls an upset, eclipses the whole thing. And here we are, where Tom Aspinall should be the rightful one to fight for the title, but Jones is waiting for Stipe, and he's off on dealing with some more legal charges and an injury. It's pretty standard for Jon Jones at this point. However, with this matchup, I think it's a toss-up, because if you watch that first fight, up until the injury, I feel like Curtis was getting some good shots in there on Aspinall. Something could have changed down the road had that injury not happened. But we know that Curtis Blaydes can definitely defeat Aspinall. However, Tom Aspinall needs to beat Curtis Blaydes, because we all are seeing the writing on the wall. This is a timeline split situation where either Curtis defeats Aspinall and then he's defending an interim title himself, and Aspinall's completely written off, especially by Jon Jones and Dana White. You could tell that they don't want that fight to happen, because although Jon Jones could still beat Aspinall, I feel like, in my opinion, I still feel like Aspinall is a gigantic dice roll for Jon Jones' perfect record if you don't count the Matt Hamill disqualification. But with the change of the rules, you catch my drift. But if Aspinall wins this, then I think it's going to look really bad on Jones if he fights Stipe, because it's ridiculous that someone should have to fight for an interim title after gaining it the first time. This fight, in my honest opinion, should just be for a vacant heavyweight fight, title. And Jon Jones should just go on to fight Stipe without a belt and just make it a fan service fight main event. There's plenty of non-title main events that have happened before. Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. You catch my drift. If you have a big enough name, you don't need a belt to sell a ton of pay-per-views. And Jon Jones is one of the biggest names next to someone like Conor McGregor, so he doesn't even need the belts. Now, obviously, fair play to him. He beat Cyril Gane. But the way that things have been going, I could see where the criticism of Jon Jones is going. Despite Jon Jones arguably being one of the greatest to have ever done it, despite all the controversies he's been involved in, I think that guy's been his own worst enemy, and if he didn't get into any controversies, he would without a doubt go down as the GOAT in MMA. However, you're going to see some people who are going to hop on Jon Jones not fighting Tom Aspinall, because what could I say? People love to see a Titan fall. It just happens. There's a lot of haters, but I feel like in this sense, the criticism is very warranted. Although the injury right now, I could totally see that happening during rolling. Sometimes that stuff just goes down. Sometimes things happen. So, of course, he's going to be forced to take some time off. But, if Aspinall pulls off the win, which I do have him as kind of a slight underdog right now, I don't want to sound like I'm counting him out again, but we know that he's hittable with Curtis Blaydes unless he really ups his game in a different way. And you know what? After seeing how he fought Pavlovich, I think it's entirely possible that if he gets scared and does his best work while he's scared, he could definitely take down Curtis Blaydes. But if he loses again, and he loses the interim title, we are going to see the biggest write-off in heavyweight history. The biggest, exploitation of someone else fighting that we're ever going to see in MMA history, not just heavyweight, but MMA history, because you could see it where it's just like, yeah, they're banking on Aspinall to lose this fight at this point. So I actually want to see him win. So although I think that there's a heavy chance that he might be on the losing end of this one, I am rooting for him. So I am going to say my prediction is going to go along with my hope. Usually I say that my heart and my mind are saying two different things. I'm forcing my mind to go with my heart on this one. I want to see Tom Aspinall win and retain that title, so there's no doubt that he is the rightful contender for the heavyweight title. Peace out.